Okay, now just a quick recap for the people that haven't been here this morning is that we're dealing with the question of mold remediation. What do you do properly to handle mold remediation, particularly before it's a major problem? It's maybe a big problem, but not a major problem, because what we're finding is some houses are dying as soon as 10 years after they're built because of mold. That's not good for housing stock. So a housing conference got to look at the maintenance too. And yet a lot of that maintenance, I think, can be done by homeowners, by kids, by their family, by helping out each other without waiting for some professional to show up from the van council. And so there's limits to that. And some things have to be done with a professional. But what we look at in mold remediation is not just clean it up and paint it. Okay? What we want to do is we spot the mold, we try to trace it to its source. Here what we had was that we have bathrooms here that had a floor that had mold around the toilet ring where the toilet was. So that headed us in the right direction. We said we got to look underneath. So we deconstructed the floor and we carefully cut out a section of floor. We went down, we found mold. We're rotting out half of the joist right next to the toilet. So we cut it out. We poisoned the rest with water because we're in a hotel. But you could be in-cut treatment. It could be wood hardener. It could be the dry rot epoxies. And so we perfected that. Then we sistered the thing, which meant we put another joist alongside the rotten joist to get the strength back. Then we had the ends of the plywood that weren't supported that we were going to be putting in, so we had to put new blocking in. Then we put the plywood down. And the greatest little trick you might have missed at the end of the other one is where to drill the toilet hole. Because after all of that, particularly if you didn't think about it until then, you're wondering, where is it hidden under the floor here? Or if beforehand you took measurements, are your measurements good? So what we did is we took the rotten piece that had the original hole in it. So the rotten piece was like this. That was what made us suspect the problem was next to the toilet in the first place. Laid it down on the floor like a template and simply drew the hole in the right place without having to measure it or even know any measurements. So there's no mistakes. Now, we're going to do another exercise today where, again, we're going to use the tape measure where we have to, and then where it would be relatively difficult to use the tape measure, we're going to work to site, which is often a great thing to do in renovation. Instead of getting some precise measurement, what we really want is a board that goes from there to there. And we put the board up, or we do something that gives us physically that distance, and we cut it. And you end up not knowing how long it is, and you don't care, but it fits. That's what's important. Okay. And then later, next step, later this afternoon, we'll be doing the floor trim and how to cope an inside corner to trim it all off and make it look good. But what we're doing with the vinyl is a little special. Sheet vinyl is one of the most waterproof coverings you can have in a bathroom because no cracks between boards or tiles. So it gives us really a waterproof, except that when you get to the wall, it's not waterproof. It leaks down beyond the vinyl and goes into the floor. So we're going to practice a very unusual step, which is we're actually using 4 inches, not 3 inches. But we're going to bring the wall side of the vinyl folded up 3 inches like that. And then we got to learn to play with the corners. Now you see my drawings are more complicated, and we've simplified it for today because we had a countertop. Can you grab me the countertop down there? We had a countertop in the corner. And if you just set that in there. Our plan was to go around that countertop and have to do the measurements and the setting up and all that. We found it was too complicated for the time we had. So there are 2 ways to do it. Going around the countertop is good because it waterproofs on this side of everything where we can actually wipe up the water. Waterproofing all the way to the corner like we're going to do in a couple of minutes is good, not quite as good, but it means the water can't get into the structure of the house, but it can get under the counter. So you still might want to set the counter down into a bead of caulking. But caulking doesn't stick to vinyl, remember that. You can't put a bead of caulking in front because it'll stick to the counter but not to the floor. It'll give way to the floor and the water will go under it. But if you squish it, you've made a rubber barrier that can stop it. Okay? So we can get rid of that. We're going to simplify it. But what we do have to do is this wall is not perfect, and they're not even all the same size, so we couldn't even pre-cut this. So how are we going to get the dimensions and the sizes in? What we're going to do, first of all, is to, and you'll see in a minute how to bend this, but we're going to bend up one side here, 4 inches. We're going to bend up this side here 4 inches. I'm going to bend the back 4 inches, and let me walk through this just quickly. If we can give a slideshow back. With the countertop there, we had a design like that we needed to cut out. But what's interesting are the tabs up in the corner there and the corner there, which are going to be what we're doing now. And so we have the piece that sticks out the side, and it's going to come back around and fold around the other side. I'm getting there we go. Whoop, we just got to let the machine do what it can, huh? Okay, that was what we were doing earlier. I guess if I double click, I go home. There we go. Now we bend the tabs in on the 2 corners. So that's what we're doing there. If we were doing it with a counter, we have a problem of the V showing up when you bend those up. What you do to that is that it looks like this when it's around the counter, and then we take little square pieces and fit them in over the top and glue them down. So that now we'll actually pre-caulk the corners, in the corner here and in the corner there, just a dab of caulking in the corners, and squish the whole vinyl sheet into it. That's the massive caulking behind the bad weak joint, and it won't leak. If we try to caulk it afterwards, the caulking will always peel off. You get it behind it, you created a waterproof barrier that's just sitting there. Okay, and it'll stick to the paper side of the vinyl. Okay, so well, we'll leave that there because we can see in this tab coming back here. So what you're going to do is you're going to have, they're all set up there, and we already bent 2 sides up, just like mine on the stage here. And you have to be very careful to not mix up the design of the tile and the line of cut. I already did yesterday, did the wrong place. But so the tile can throw you off. You have to make sure you're looking at the pencil mark. And by the way, Sharpie pencils, magic markers don't work on vinyl. It evaporates off. So you have to use the large lead pencil, the carpenter's pencil, and rub it in. So the only cut we're going to do for the moment is from this corner to this corner. Simple cut, you do it on a floor that doesn't matter if you have a knife cut in there. And with that, when you bend this up, we can just bend that around behind it. And you get your corner. Now, we need to figure out what's going on the other side. So we're going to bring this over, slide it into position. And now we have to hug it right down to this corner. So this is your little struggling with the vinyl. Now, it would be convenient in a house if you could do this really easily, because I'm outdoors reaching in, okay? That makes it really easy. But in a real house, you have to move it a little bit, get off it, push it, get off it, push it, snug it up. Now, one of the great tools working with the vinyl is this spatula. Cheap, easy. It's not metal, so it won't cut the vinyl if you don't try to cut the vinyl. So we can use it to tuck in corners. You see the whole thing pulling over? And I want this corner that we've already made to be perfect. Now, I can't tack anything down yet because we've got to measure how long it's supposed to go that way. We don't know where it's going to fold on this side. We actually had a fold made by accident here, right, last night? In the wrong place. And you can see somebody followed the grout line thinking it was pencil line. Okay. So now you want to grab your second spatula there. Now we need to come in here. You follow this? I don't know. Can you see that on the camera? Are we up? Okay. Oh, Jessica, you're right there in my face. That's good. You see what we're doing is forcing this in. Now, you're going to, Kevin, come up in the bathroom with me. Push that in. And I'm going to check if we've messed up the other side. We're still good here. We come down flat. Okay. A little bit of a... Okay. Now, as we can't really do the corner because it's all up in the air over there. If you want to take the camera and shoot that back corner, Jessica, you stay with me. If you want to shoot that back corner, you see it's flopping up in the air. You can't really do anything. So we're going to do the job right up to where we can do it. And you see, Jessica, how this folds down, and I'm actually breaking the back of the paper. There's paper on the back, but the vinyl in the front stays intact and waterproof. So by bending over the spatula after we've hugged it in there, I can create this fold. And notice, I don't know if this wall is straight, and I don't care, because I'm making the vinyl to match the wall, whatever it is. Now, I can only go so far and the whole thing stops because of it's wrapped up on the wall there. So I'm going to stop there, and then we'll continue it by pulling this out into the... Now this, if it's closed bathroom, you might have to even roll this up the wall a little bit. We want to pull it out there, and then pretty well snug it in to where we were here. Does that other side need to be pulled down? Check that. Okay, we're constantly checking back and forth because you're doing this difficult thing. But right now, can you see we've got clearance back here. And so now I can go all the way to the end of creating this crease. And once I've got that crease made, I can actually make it a little sharper just with my fingers. Don't want to break anything, but I am breaking the paper in the back. Don't panic. That's actually good and necessary. So you get the back looks like that. Okay? Now, once we got that, I can come up and cut this piece here in the corner. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're getting a wraparound. What you do want to do is not cut it this way, but cut it this way. And I'm just having trouble getting it started. There we go. I'm in. And bother to push it in, cut very slowly, just up to the crease, like that, which allows me to then bend this piece in. Okay, bend that up. You want to go down and work on that end? Or I'll take... Now, the problem is you need to sort of bend this into place, and in a real life, you then have to get off of it and shove it in. Okay? So that's a lot of fooling around. It goes inch by inch. We can both cheat. We're out in the snow. And we pull that in, and we're hugging well around. Now, once you've got it really set, and you feel like it's tucked in tight in all the places, like that, I'm changing the angle a little bit of that plate. Then what you're going to do is pull it back out for a little bit, or fold it over. You want to pull that back for me just a bit to open it up. And we're going to get just enough room. Pull it more so the camera can see. Okay, you don't need to pull it much. But what I want to do is I want to cock this corner fairly abundantly, but not too much. up the corner is not that important. It's the little point in the bottom that's the most important. And then we'll caulk this corner. I promised the hotel we wouldn't get any of this caulking on the floor, so help me keep my promise. If you're doing it at home, promise your mother. Okay. So we get some caulking in there, and then again we have that difficult situation of having to sit on it and pull it at the same time. You get to cheat today because we don't have the time to inch that in. And that's looking pretty good. And then a little lesson on staple guns. Where's a good shot for you, Jessica? Right here? If you have a staple gun, all the pressure is back here on the handle. If you push all back on the handle, this tends to rise up and you get a lousy staple. It doesn't go in. And here you can see it doesn't go in by a lot because I really shot it high. You get a little closer, you get in kind of there, it's still proud. If I put all my weight on the head and I'm just pulling the trigger up, not down, I'm pulling the body, my force is going upward so that I won't rock down. You get it flush. Okay, any staple gun. They only make one that actually has the trigger in the front, so it pushes down in the right place, and all the rest of them are poorly built. But we have to live with that. Unless you got a power one that's battery operated. But even that, the weight goes here, and then you just activate the handle. But you keep the weight here, not back here. Okay? Little tip like this tips on driving screws. And so we come along. Kevin, we need to push this back just a little bit before I lock it in. Does it want to move anymore? No, I guess not. Oh, that's pretty tight. Now, there will be wood trim goes over the top, so it means that some errors, not too much, but some errors can be tolerated. I don't like this big curve in the corner, so I'm going to work that right out, and then I'm going to lock it in so it doesn't move. Now, I'm just stapling in the drywall. So if you're doing this, you'll probably want to put adhesive on the other side so that the adhesive is really going to do the job. The staple is just there until the adhesive dries. So don't think the staple is going to last for 10 years without pulling loose. And don't staple the floor. That puts holes in the floor. It's like stapling the bottom of a boat. Okay? You can staple the mast, but you don't staple the bottom of the boat. So when you got a bump, you put in, now we can't get rid of all of them, but the wood pushing up is trim. Take care of that. If you wanted to, that could be cut off. Now, I'm pushing all here. Now, here's a good, Jessica, you want to come shoot close here? Come right on up and see this space that's in there. So we got this, see it's pulled away from the wall there, all the way here. We can actually get that because the tab is there. So if I push my tab in, see that's the tab piece, and I need it to go further in. So I'm going to actually work my tab back further into that caulking, and then bring this one in to hold it into place, and then lock it down. And I just got rid of a great big gap in the corner. Now it's tight. Okay? Little working like that, and you're done. So what do you got to do? You've got to line this up, pull it out so that you're butted really well in the one side, and you come over to the other side and you start to make that crease in the other side. And as your crease gets down, you've got to pull it all out and finish the crease. You go to the end. You cut the line, carefully cutting so that the wall will wrap around this way, the wall will wrap around that way, So you make sure your cut is in the back piece, not in the side piece. It works both ways. It's just a little more convenient this way. And then, as you saw me fiddling that in until you got it down, and you end up with a nice final floor. Now, what we don't have yet is a hole for the drain. We forgot to mark it. We forgot to measure it. There's a little secret here. Is vinyl is pretty flexible, and we should be able to find the hole. There it is, no? Where's my hole? I thought I would just stumble right on it. You're not sure? There's the stud. Oh, did we cut the hole out on this one? I think we did, didn't we? Did we cut the hole out? Might not have. I think I cut it a halfway and I stopped. That's why I'm not feeling it. You'll feel a hole. You've got a hole there. You'll feel a hole. When you get the hole, you just punch in the middle, go to the edge of the wood, and cut out the vinyl. Okay? I think we saved time in the last show and didn't finish cutting my hole. That's why I couldn't find it. So anyway, that's what you're going to do. So, number one, you get that corner in tight, and you get to the other side, pull the whole thing out enough to be able to lie the one side down. Well, actually, before you pull it out, you start making your second crease all the way along. When you can't do it anymore because it's jamming up in the wall, then you pull it forward, finish the wall, push that all back in, and then you adjust for the tabs on the sides. So you check that the tab is tight and the other flap goes over the top. And then any difference between those two don't show because the wood trim is going to hide it. In fact, just to show you that real quickly, the two little pieces on the floor, is that these will come in like this, a square one in the back, the other one like this, and they'll butt up. Now, this one doesn't want to fit, but you can work that coping. That's the next challenge, to get that to fit properly. But the more that it's kicking out on the bottom, the more trouble you'll have making that fit. Now with this, if you didn't have the upturn, the trim is really easy. With the upturn, the trim is probably going to be on a bit of a slant. You'll have to work on the corners, but the slant is not really a problem. And then we might even caulk the top because the trim, in this particular case, trim comes up quite a bit. If it was straight, there's a big crack here. If it's slightly bent, that's even better. There's less of a crack. We can just caulk that later. But you can see the bathtub effect or swimming pool effect. I can spill a lot of water here, and it's not going to get into the house. It's got to actually go out the door before it's going to be in trouble. So the little bit of puddle every day, if you mop it up, it's gone. Okay? So get going on it. We've got some helpers that'll be around to double check you and help you out. Be ready to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You got 20 minutes. Now, we're not worried about speed. You actually have a lot of time. You need to make sure you got it laid out right, and then work on folding it right, and be careful where you cut. Is that tab cut open there? Is that cut here? Okay, no cut. So we need a cut. Where do we need a cut? You need a cut that's going to go out like that. Yeah, because you need to be able to fold that. So that's the one cut you can make now. Yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to cut that one. So pull it out enough just to make that one cut that leaves the tab to wrap around. Now, yep, that's exactly right. Now you might want to clear it a little deeper. It looks like you left a little vinyl on the bottom of your cut. Now be careful which way you're going to cut and which line. Check with your partner. You need a consensus on this. Check twice, cut once. Yeah, that way, and then it folds around the corner. Whoa, 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 you're cutting in the wrong direction. Yeah, but you want to cut, yeah, and you want to go that way. We got this cut open on this side? Yep. Okay. No, you don't want to cut that yet because we're not sure about the size. So, yeah, you'll see that might have to be adjusted later when we get right in the corner. No, don't do that yet. We got a lot of adjustment to go to make sure we got it. Is that side all pleated already? Is that whole side pleated? Yeah, before you caulk it, let's stop. Before you caulk it, let's do a dry fit. All the way around. All the way around. Get it in tight and check all the corners. Because once you caulk it, you can't do much. Now put some weight on it so it doesn't move. Put your foot up there. Okay, now let's lock that in. Okay, now this is good? You're good there? How's that corner? Is it working? Yeah? Now, this seems to curve a lot to me here. Yeah, that's right. Just break it harder, because that curve is what's going to kill you with the molding. That's why I just wanted to check that totally in the last detail before we put the caulking in or lock it down. If you had adhesive and put it on there and you stick it in, it's like, oh, God. Okay, now this doesn't look good at all. Okay? Now check before he tightens that down. Get yourself hugged in over here. You got a long ways to go. No, you want to we're gonna have to make a new crease?
Pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay, is that other side going to be all right? Okay, then you got to make a new crease here. All before you glue it down. You're looking nice and tight on this side. Okay, now you'll have to stop, pull it out, and fix the corner. That's looking good now. One of the things you do, come here a minute. Come back down here. If you look at this, you see the curve that's in there? That's not going to help you. So let's put the edge in. And let's put an edge in just tight there. Go ahead, take the edge, put it in tight, and then go down low, pull the edge out a little bit, and let's break the crease. We're really making a fold there. Now you see how that goes down sharp? That'll help all the way along. And then you don't fight it on the end. You get almost there and then pull it forward and finish off. Okay, now you got a big round here. You're breaking that more to make it sharper. You don't want to, you're changing the line? You want to change the line or what? Or do we move this in? Yeah. You see, if you get this in sharp now, that changes yours. Are you in really tight there? That looks good, huh? See, if you look down here, you'll see it's clean. If you look from this way, come down here and look. This is where you can see the truth. You see how that's pretty tight. Not perfect, but it's pretty tight. In fact, if you bend it like that and move it that much more, you're really tight. We just screwed them up. So you got to work together as a team, and you need to keep your eye on it if his work changes yours. Okay? You need to signal to him that, or to her, if there's a problem. Now, stop there. Oh, you're going right to the corner. Then you're going to come back and make a harder crease. Yeah, it's not like the old patterns, except it's held to follow a line. Okay, come back here for a minute before you get too perfect in the corner. Before you get too perfect in the corner, back all the way up. Okay, so we have quite a bit. Yeah, it almost needs to be cut because it's not going to go around that corner. Okay, so what we need to do to get that is basically, well, first of all, let's finish this crease well, and then we'll work on that, which means I want you to look at it from over here. Now, look at that and look at the other side. You see how a hard crease shoved, now is that shoved in tight? Are you in tight or is she pulled out? Okay, now you take this, you do your crease, and now we're going to fold it down hard. And in fact, even fold it like that. Now you see the straight edge? So you do that slowly all along. Stop before we get too far, and we'll see what we can do about that. This is, okay, are you working here? No? Okay, I want you guys to come over here a minute. Come over here. Yes, push it back, but I want to show you something. Push it back, Louis. You need to push it back. You need to walk around and pull that center. Pull it in tight. Okay. Now, you have two creases here. The question is, which one do we really want? If you come and look at it from here, see, that's not working at all.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So you have a crease here.
We went with this one at the line there.
Yeah, and then now you may have another one that's not really in the right place either. How's that side? Is it ready to make a crease here? Or is that side good? No, yeah, you see it's jumping. See the bulge? Okay, no, put it to the, no, don't necessarily pull the bulge. Just make sure it's right there, and then we'll pull it from this side. Or maybe you pull it from your side. Which side works best to get rid of that bulge? Yeah, okay, pull it that way. Can you pull it that way? With the spatula? You don't want to cut the vinyl. Okay. That's the kind of thing you want to do. And you got to work all the way back. You got to work all the way back with that. Now bend it sharp. Bend it sharp. When you got the really right place, bend it sharp. Okay? Now, before you quit, you get that perfected, go back and perfect the other side. No, go ahead and finish this. Get that down so it's well in place. And that's our guide this time. Then you go over and play with the other one until it's seated in. Now, if one of you actually stand on it here so it can't move, okay? So if one of you stand on it here and the other one works on that crease, that way it's not going to move. Is the back all right, or do you need to fix the back? Okay, now you're going to end up with a crease in between the two creases. That's okay. Force it in nice and square. And now bend that down and break the back. Yeah, you got to tuck it square on both sides. Did you figure out anything for your corner? No, we haven't figured out the corner yet. So this is coming over, this is coming around. So we don't want to be bothering this piece coming around. But we've got to, I'm just trying to see if a line that way makes sense. I think that's what we're going to have to do. You're quite a ways away from the wall. I don't know how you got that far away from the wall here. when you cut it, huh? But it wasn't set up quite right. Yeah, yeah, that's from. So what we're going to do, I'm going to cheat it here a little for you, and we're going to follow this line just because we need to bend that piece like that, which allows us to pull this one back further. Now this is going to get us into trouble. We've got to see, we've got all that tab too much. A little piece of wood. Can you hold this piece of wood right there? So now I want to get on it to cut. Can you make that straight? See it's not straight here? No, not too far, not too far. Just from this line back. No, no, no. Just from that line back. Yeah, right there. Yeah, that's good. Now let's see what that does. Okay, it leaves us a big hole that we have to caulk up, but it's now going to sit flat. But you see, this is not flat in the back yet. So you need to push. Yeah, so you, yeah, that got you a lot closer. Okay, you're getting there now. You couldn't just ignore and try to force that bubble. We needed to figure out some way to caulk it, or to do it. So when you put the caulking in, you're going to put a bead of caulking now across that line on the bottom. Good. Did you get your caulking in the corner? Yeah, I see a little bit. These guys are all done? Holes cut out, holes cut out. Was it easy to find the hole? So I really didn't cut out my hole, okay. Those are beautiful corners. That's good. In fact, the whole square. Yeah, go ahead, do it. Have you worked in construction before? That's what I thought. Renovation or new construction? What? What? Oh, just your mom's bathroom. So you didn't have any training? Did you learn anything this week? Yeah. Like what? Oh yeah, even just how to use that. Okay, good tight corners. A little ripple, that would actually go down with the glue. Find your hole. You got a knife right here. So feel around. Yeah. Can you find it? You found it, okay.
Do we have a drill bit?
No, you have a knife. You go to the middle of the hole, find the middle of the hole with your finger. No, you got the middle of the hole?
Well, there's no actual hole cut in there.
They didn't cut the hole?
No.
Oh, they didn't finish that. We should have finished that off.
We thought we had to cut it ourselves.
Well,
The
okay.
is still there.
Okay, follow that. Follow his line. You can forget about going to the middle. You can just follow his line.
Well, we just drew this line.
Okay, that's looking tighter, guys. Looking good. You find the hole? Yeah, you got a hole somewhere. It wasn't cut all the way? We forgot to come back and cut it all the way for you. Oh, no, okay. Start in the middle there, because that's where your hole is, right? We know it's cut a little bit. So just slice that out, and then we'll make a circle around it, because you'll find part of the cut.
Plus you guys,
No, not a jigsaw. No, no. Well, we might have to use it to get through the wood, but let's take the knife. Just cut out the hole that is there so we can see what's going on. Get your fingers out of the way. And don't cut too much. Just cut what's really. So cut that away. Cut that away a bit so we can see what's underneath. Yeah, we had 2 decks and mine that we didn't finish cutting the plumbing hole, so it makes a problem for work now. But I think that if you carve with that a little bit, you'll find a cut on one side that'll guide you to make a cut. Then you could actually take the jigsaw and finish it off. Yeah, that side was cut out, huh? Yeah, okay, so you're doing really well. So now you can just cut the vinyl like a circle. Just follow a circle there, and then take your jigsaw and cut the wood out. Yeah. Well, you don't even have to plunge cut because you already got a saw cut here. Had we been over here, we could just have gone around. But no, this was my fault that I didn't clean that up before the session.
okay. So we made our own hole.
So you made your own hole. We'll call that legit. Okay? Now you can go in and hunt to what you have to do with the jigsaw. Stop. Let me point out what you got to do. You don't go to the edge. See this thing's already starting to curve? We're going to come up to the curve. We're going to go back. Come up to the curve. Okay.
Make a little hole.
And then until you get round, and then you walk around the hole. Okay. So we forgot to finish the last session of cutting the holes out. So we got mine and there too that were trying to find a hole under the vinyl that wasn't there. Actually, those two, they had half a hole. Do you gals have a hole here that's...
Yeah, it's right here.
It is? Ah, okay, you got a hole. So as soon as you're stapled down, no, you're going to do it with a knife. You have a real hole, it's easy. Staple some of those bubbles. And while she's doing that, you can cut the hole out. Jessica, get that, because that's the real hole. Looking for it. time's up. I just noticed the time is up. We got a hole in that one. Got it good. You actually made a artificial hole. Oh, don't clean the house. Pick up your saw so we can see the hole. Okay, that's progress. Half a hole. We had 3 of them we forgot to finish in between sessions, so they didn't have a hole to trace. Mine included. A little lesson for us. Okay, the judges have made a decision. Judges, what's our decision?
The winning team is team number 1.
Back here, number 1. Hey, hey, hey. Okay.
Can we get them to introduce themselves, say where they come from or whatever?
Yes. Okay, team 1. Got a question. Get up. Come on up. Come on up. You're part of it? Come on. Come on. So you got to use my microphone. Talk in here. Tell me who you are and where you come from.
I'm Kenyon. I was born in Dryden.
And what school do you come from?
I come from Hammershoek.
Hammershoek. Okay. You're all 3 of you on that team. Tell me who you are and what school you're from.
My name is Clara Jacob, and I'm from Matawa.
Okay. Josh Cake from Slam.
Slam, yeah.
Okay. Good. Don't go away. Don't go away. What do we got? You got three prizes or not? Huh? For the what? Okay. For the youth. What do we have? 2 youth in this group? Okay. Congratulations. Oh, not bad, huh? Good show. You guys are doing good. That helped you to get primed yesterday? Yeah? I asked him earlier, what did you learn? He said, how to use a stapler. That was cool. That was cool. He actually had practice. He did his mother's bathroom before this, so he understands what we were trying to do. Thank you very much. You want a picture? Okay, all 3 of you. Come on up. This is a big group picture. Who's taking pictures? You're taking the picture? Okay. Everybody cheese. Okay. Now at 2:30, we're going to do the last session, which will be trim. Now trim can get really complicated, and what trim is we're talking about this stuff that we put around the floorboards. Now the youth worked with this a bit yesterday. There's detail we'll be talking about inside corners, outside corners, and we don't have a lot of time, so we're going to concentrate on just coping. That's making this, you see a decorative edge here that mates with the other side. So what we're going to do is concentrate on coping a piece of this. Now we're not going to really fill in the whole bathroom because we don't have time, but we're going to just see if we can get 1 or 2 coped edges out of a team in 20 minutes. That looks fairly decent. I don't expect perfection in this. This takes a long time to get good at it. But we'll get into the details of what it is and how it's done at 2:30. And if you're involved in it, be here 5 minutes early so we can get a good start. Okay, thank you.